one thing with this women's bill is I think there are probably more nails in those houses. I think women tend to want to do it, just be sure it's done right. Well, I joined the board in '96, and a friend of mine, Lynn Merrill, had been the first board chair, and she knew they needed somebody on the board. The treasurer, I think, had resigned, and I'm an accountant. So she asked me to go on the board, and I was treasurer right away. My husband's law firm had built some houses, and I had worked on them. So, I already was familiar with a good bit of it. And a good friend of mine, Polly Simpson, she and I had a conversation in which she said, I would really love to see get together a group of friends and sponsor and build a house. And I looked and I said, well, how would you feel about a women's bill? I mean, that was kind of part of her mission in life, is to promote women and to lead things with women. And we went to talk to Larry Dale Martin, who was the head of Habitat at that point, and told her what we wanted to do. And she said, that's great. She said, when you raise half of your money, let us know and we'll put you on the schedule. And so we started fundraising, mostly from our friends, and we had a lot of mutual friends, and Polly had more friends than anybody. And so we sent out letters at that point, not emails, but letters. That's how long ago it was. And we had something we called the Builders Circle, which were donations over $1,000 or over. And we got about 40 people to donate that, and all the donors were individual people at that point. I think there was an appeal to women to build, and I think a lot of them thought, gee, that really sounds exciting. That's something different. That same group, the steering committee that we got together, and Polly's two daughters were on that steering committee, that we built the first 3 houses, and it was '03, '05, and then '07, and we felt like we had to skip a year because we couldn't go back to our friends so soon and ask them to donate big money. I don't know that it was all that different. I think the mission is the same and the feelings about it are the same. It's a little different in the way women relate to each other, I think. And I think we were all learning a lot, and because not many of these women had ever built a house or had done any sort of construction work. The first time I built, somebody had to show me how to hold the hammer. The house leader has always, in my experience, been good at figuring out what you can do and very tactfully telling you, well, maybe you just want to go over here and paint for a while, I never got on the roof. I never did like that part of it, but did climb ladders to put the siding up. We've always had a house mother who was in charge of refreshments and seeing and just checking, going around during the build and checking on things, and I guess checking at the last minute on how many people we have for each build and that sort of thing. And the other part of it is working on a house with the home buyer. To me, that is really special, and just the greatest experience to get to know her and him, and their family. Once you get to know somebody on that level and working beside them, you really get to know them. And I can't think of one that I think they were all great. I think that's a pretty good feeling, and I hope that it just keeps going and continues to thrive and be a vibrant sort of volunteer thing that it has been. So, yeah, that makes me feel pretty good. I mean, this is an enthusiastic, dedicated, hardworking group, and they really care about excellence and doing better than they have to, and there are a lot of women in this group who feel that way.